Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Neighborhood Ventures podcast. I'm Bart Diehl. Today I'm joined by the IR team here at Neighborhood Ventures, Kyle Macdonald and Nick Jackson. We got a good slate of topics today. We're going to talk about ASU and why it's innovative. We're going to talk about the Metrocenter Mall and the plans for it. And we're going to talk about the Phoenix light rail system. So a lot of fun topics if you're a Phoenix native. And if you're not a Phoenix native, tune in because this is a area where you may want to invest someday. So just to jump in, we're going to talk about an article from the Phoenix Business Journal titled ASU Maintains Its Title as U.S. News' Most Innovative University. So this is 11 years running. ASU has been number one for innovation. Why do you guys think this is? Why is ASU the most innovative university year over year?
You know, a lot of people talk about that, and you'll see that on billboards and buses as you drive around, especially by Tempe.
Yeah.
When they talk about ASU being the most innovative university, it really means the university itself, right? So President Michael Crow and what he's done to that university in the last 20 years, the way that they provide education is at such a high level for a public university. It's really never been seen before.
Yeah.
In the United States, and that's a fact. I mean, right here you can just see all the rankings for all these programs for a public university.
Initially, I thought it was a marketing tactic.
Always.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like if you're in town for a spring training game and you're from Chicago and you're driving around, you see ASU number one most innovative university, you want your kid to go there. That school's innovative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said that, I was wondering, how is that judged? How do you judge innovation? And apparently there's a poll, a survey of college leaders, which they make votes on the most innovative in terms of curriculum, faculty, students, campus life, technology, and facilities. So in all those categories, cumulative, ASU ranks number one.
Yeah, and
cool.
And the way that President Michael Crow and the leaders around him fund Arizona State University is incredibly unique. They take very little money from the state of Arizona, as well as the city of Tempe, comparatively to other universities across the country, mainly because they are funded by a ton of real estate projects that they have.
Yeah, so it's not only number one in innovation. I'm going to go through the list because I do think it's a cool list. They're number two for supply chain management, number 5 for undergraduate teaching programs, also number 5 for analytics, number 7 for management information systems. And I'm just going to go through a few of these, not all of them. Number 8 for entrepreneurship, number 9 for software engineering, number 9 for finance, number 9 for artificial intelligence, number 9 for management, number 9 for cybersecurity, number 10 for accounting, number 12 for computer science, also tied for number 12 in marketing, and number 18 for undergraduate engineering programs. With Phoenix becoming kind of a tech hub, and to Kyle talked about it pre-podcast, and I'll let you dive into it. This is really cool with keeping talent here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at the rankings of this university and you look at Arizona, Arizona really, besides the weather and some of the other things we talk about, isn't known for a ton of things with regards to business. And Arizona State, being the largest university in the country, is clearly killing it across, right here, these 20 different categories and more. And so with that, the economic developers of the state, from GPEC to the ACA, especially the last 5 years, have made a drastic initiative to try and retain these students here in town and bring companies here. Like, we want, Meta here. We want startups flourishing here. We want, and we're seeing it with TSMC. I mean, you name it.
This is a multifamily podcast, so the people that are tuning in, whether you're in Arizona or out of state, we do want to talk about multifamily and how this connects. So Phoenix is one of the fastest growing metros in the country. How do you guys think the growth at ASU affects housing needs in Tempe and then also some of these submarkets?
So Tempe itself is a very dense place.
Yeah.
And also Arizona with its growth, the amount of land to be able to develop and redevelop is getting more and more scarce. And so when you factor in all these things, like this university that's doing so well, these economic developers who are bringing companies here left and right, the amount of housing that is needed has been skyrocketing. And obviously Phoenix has been delivering some of the most multifamily units in the country, but with demand holding strong in this market, and more companies moving here and more students enrolling at ASU, I mean, it's really a perfect storm.
Yeah. Well, and also, I think we talked about it last podcast, but Michael Crow's the growth of the apartments that are non-housing or non-student housing apartments that they're investing in, it kind of goes towards their aim for growth, not only for the campus but for outside of the campus.
Yeah. Just being on the topic of innovation, I think the innovation of mixed use that happens around campus. So we talked on a podcast a couple weeks ago about cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac is this walkable community in Tempe where really there's not a lot of cars, but it's mixed use. Your apartments there, everything, all your needs are downstairs. Your grocery stores, your boutiques, your salons, your gyms, everything's walkable. It's a very nice community right in Tempe. So I think there's spillover into other parts of the community. So now cul-de-sac, this brand that maybe not because of ASU, but partly because of all the growth going on in Tempe, they're taking that same concept and building it in Mesa now. And I think people aren't going to reinvent the wheel. They're going to see what's successful and say, ooh, we want to do this in Peoria now, or we want to do this in Buckeye. So I think that's where seeing all this growth and progress is really going to spill over into the valley.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, cul-de-sac, its success and Ryan Johnson, the founder of cul-de-sac, would give credit to the city of Tempe and ASU for the success of that project. And it really just shows how fast-moving Tempe is, how fast-moving ASU is, and how willing the Valley is just to see innovation here. I mean, we were one of the first markets to welcome Waymo, to welcome drones for Amazon. I mean, you name it.
Yeah, maybe it's a podcast for another day, but I think Tesla just got approved to allow for the self-driving cars here.
They did.
So maybe on another podcast we'll talk about that and how it affects multifamily.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're talking about innovation. We're talking about mixed use. I do want to jump into our next topic. It's an article by ABC 15 News, and they actually released new renderings of the Village showing the redevelopment of Metrocenter Mall. So we have over 15,000 investors on our platform, and many of which who are outside of Arizona. Nick, I'm going to let you bat lead off here.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell us about the Metrocenter lore.
Yeah.
What history of it. I know you grew up and that was kind of your stomping ground. So for the investors that aren't from Phoenix, give us a background.
Yeah, for those of us in Northwest Valley, born and raised, it really, Metrocenter was the hub. There really wasn't anything that we wanted to do or go shopping or just to go hang out. Metrocenter, what was it? And it really was the center of the West Valley, and so it was built in 1973.
Yeah,
and it was the staple all the way up until Arrowhead Mall was built in October of 1993.
Yeah,
and that kind of people continue to go to Metrocenter, but just the anchor stores slowly started to move out. A little bit
further west.
But Metrocenter had a ice rink, which was Arizona ice rink. It was awesome because it was on the first floor, so you could on the second floor oversee and just watch people skating, and it was such a cool experience from a kid perspective. It was. I really didn't skate much, but just to go and sit there and watch, and then to see ice in Arizona in June was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then also so it turned into an ice rink, and then they figured out probably cost wise, then they switched it to a arcade.
Yeah.
And then it was just a huge arcade, which was another stopping point or point for us to go and just go have fun. And so it really for us until it kind of started to go a little bit downhill as far as just it seemed like there was some crime that happened.
Yeah. More and more people started going to Metrocenter Mall. It became a place where people hung out. And of course, when you're teens and you get into trouble, you want to impress the girls, so you do bad things. But it's cool. You have Castles and Coasters right there as well, which was developed after Metrocenter was already in place. How did you feel when Metrocenter, when it was announced it was going to get torn down?
Oh, it was devastating because I still drive by it, going to work back and forth. I see it all the time, and the memories are always there.
Yeah.
Especially because Castles and Coasters is still there, thriving. I still take my kids there as well. So going there and then seeing Metrocenter, and then it was demolished last year, and it was definitely something. And actually, it's been open like for several years. It's just one of those malls that I was there. I think that the biggest draw for the last probably 10 years was there's a skate park inside.
Yeah.
And I'm not in my skateboarding years anymore, but I did go and watch. It was kind of a cool.
Yeah,
and
that'd be
just
cool.
to walk inside and. But I definitely see the need. There's 65 acres of land or so that's right there, and I kind of always thought it'd be awesome if someone came in and did something to it. I just didn't think I would see that day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
So we're on the topic of someone coming in and doing something to it. And Kyle, I'm going to let you lead off on this one.
Yeah.
So tell us about the Village, this mixed-use project that's going to replace Metrocenter.
Yeah. So the master developer who's been in charge of the demolition as well as the redevelopment is Concord Wilshire. And that's led by Steve Betts, who's a local here, who has done some amazing projects. This is an $850 million redevelopment, and it will feature 1,100 townhome residences, 350 apartments, and over 100,000 square feet of retail space. And they did just release the renderings yesterday, a 5-minute rendering video. It looks it's almost a mix between, Tempe Marketplace and some product that I've seen in Southern California.
Yeah.
Actually, it looks really nice, and this is just one of the many mall redevelopment projects happening here in the Valley. Paradise Valley Mall is getting redeveloped. Mm-hmm. Fiesta Mall by the billionaire Ernie Garcia of Carvana over in Mesa. But what's really interesting for our viewers about this redevelopment project specifically is Metrocenter is in a pretty rough part of town, and what I love about this is there's a sophisticated developer, very smart people who are willing to bet almost $1 billion.
Steve Betts.
Steve Betts. Yeah, shout out to Steve Betts. Literally bet almost $1 billion on redeveloping this gentrified, really rough, crime-ridden area to bring all of this product. And so what that tells to me is it speaks to the growth of the Valley, speaks to the high demand for more housing, and also the I-17 corridor itself is just, it really is primed for redevelopment. So
well, and restaurants are still there. They have continued to, even though the mall's not there, there's many hotels that are on the east side of I-17, right across. You have a lot of businesses on that east side. And the restaurant scene has never left. Mm-hmm. And I've kind of always found that to be a little bit shocking because every couple of years you'll see a new restaurant open up, new concept, all right there. And I always kind of thought, hey, look, it's definitely been, at least I think the seeds have been planted long, ago as far as for this to begin to kind of grow into this huge village, and I'm excited to see it.
I could see people from the West Valley, I'm talking Surprise, Buckeye, that maybe don't want to live that far out there anymore, moving to this area. I think part of the project is adding 350 apartments on site. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you guys think this is even enough housing for the redevelopment, given the growth in that area with TSMC just a little bit further north?
I know for sure this will be a phased development.
Yeah.
And it's such a large site. And there's even parcels that Concord Wilshire has not acquired yet. Very, very interesting story. But the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, and you also got to think about ASU West is just a few miles west of this, 51st and Thunderbird.
Yeah.
So it's, even if you're a college kid, maybe don't want to go to Tempe for and you could go right, still live close by, have a great, downtown living, if you will, and still be able to attend ASU West.
Yeah, and also you have the light rail right there, which is going to take you basically all the way to downtown Phoenix. Short ride to get there. And speaking of the light rail, I want to talk about our next article, AZ Central. There's a new project that's in play potentially, and it's titled "Affordable Housing May Be Coming to South Phoenix Light Rail Extension." So there's a 5.5 acre vacant site at Central Avenue and Broadway in Phoenix that may be redeveloped. The city is exploring plans to bring affordable housing or commercial uses to this land. The location is strategically placed along the South Central Light Rail Extension, part of Phoenix's broader push for TOD, which is transit-oriented development. Do you guys have any insights on transit-oriented development?
No, but we just took the light rail to a Diamondbacks game.
Yeah,
a couple days ago, and I'm just impressed with that whole system. And speaking of Metrocenter and combining it, for years I've driven by, and for the last probably 5 years they've been building this light rail that I thought was going to go nowhere. Because it's huge on the freeway and it goes to Metrocenter where it's now flattened, and so I just like how it's forward thinking that we've thought about this, and we're not really known for our transportation systems, and so to be on the light rail this past few days just made me just excited that we're finally doing something that other cities have kind of grown and made part of their city. So
I'm also just thinking about affordability. So this community that they would build would likely be an affordable housing project. And transit-oriented development is you're going to build by transit systems. So people that may not be able to afford cars or want to live in a more walkable area are able to get from point A to point B easier. You build basically around the transit system as opposed to trying to build a transit system within a community.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' thoughts on the actual potential use of a project right there? Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing?
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I think, Phoenix, and I think the light rail is a great amenity. Going to the Diamondbacks game the other night on that was a great experience. And, that's really the common theme that I'm seeing in a lot of these projects is people just want to have better lifestyle.
Yeah.
And when you have to get in your car to go everywhere, honestly, it sucks. And when you can just walk out of your apartment or walk out of your house like we did and get on a train and go experience the culture, the events, the nightlife of your city, I think it's phenomenal. But being close to that, living close to that, it really is such a great amenity. If you can buy multifamily, buy the light rail, that's a great selling point for having tenants come in. If you can develop, of course, that's a great marketing tactic. So I'm just happy that our sprawling city is just making more of an effort to do these types of things.
Yeah. So to gauge interest on this, to see what people were saying, I went to Reddit, which can be a really good thing or really bad thing. But I typed in basically, affordable housing may be coming to South Phoenix Light Rail Extension. And there's actually a lot of people talking about this on Reddit. And this is within the past 32 hours.
Wow.
So one of the comments, I laid out some comments here, and if you guys have feedback to what the people are saying, feel free to jump in. But one of them was, great idea. There are lots of vacant lots in this part of town, and we could definitely use affordable housing much more than yet another self-storage or quickie oil change shop, which is true. There's so many little oil change shops or tire shops where you probably could use more affordable housing.
Well, and just think of the word vacant. Just think, as you build this, they will come.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can build transportation, especially if it's for the affordable housing, you're going to continue to add, and so I think you have more multifamily going to build new when that time comes.
Yeah.
I used to, so in the real estate development cycle, I used to think that everything started with housing, right? For example, downtown Dallas was really bad for a while, but they came in and built a bunch of luxury housing. And then what came with that was the commercial, then the retail. Well, light rail and public transit is proving to be a step before multifamily. If you can bring the transportation, you can bring the access to these areas, then housing comes, then all those things come. And it should be intuitive, but we see it with highways. Like when highways are extended, you see a lot of growth. Now we're seeing it with public transit here in Phoenix, which hasn't always been the case here.
Yeah. One of the next things that actually kind of talks about what you were talking about is the light rail has a lot of potential. I hope they keep growing it or even adding an Old Town line. And then someone replied back to that. I also wanted to go through Scottsdale so bad, but not sure NIMBY, so not in my backyard, will let it happen. Frowny face.
Very true.
And then the reply to that was, what it could actually do is help a large amount of the service staff for the hotels, bars, and restaurants in Scottsdale that now use bus services to commute to work. Would also potentially alleviate some of the traffic problems with all the employees who drive to and from these places and need to park.
Good point. Yeah, I think that's a great point.
Yeah, great point. And then the last one, great idea to have affordable housing near transit. So it seems like the people in the area are 100% behind building a affordable multifamily housing development in that vacant lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to ask too, like what else would go there? Being here in Phoenix, it's like you start heading south of town. It's very industrial.
Yeah.
Some of those oil shops and retail shops that you mentioned, but bring the housing, bring the transit, and let's go.
As Nick said, build it and they will come.
Build it and they will come.